AITAH for, locking, my girlfriend inside for her own good. 22m. So my girlfriend, 21f, has a bit of wanderlust. I'm almost positive she has some form of ADHD because she is incredibly forgetful and at times careless. She'll do things like leave her purses, books, phone, and at times keys in the car. Boil an egg on the stove and only remember once the water has completely evaporated and is burning, as well as other appliance-related problems. She always talks about how she'll get around to getting diagnosed and medicated but never does. Apparently she's been like this her whole life. Anyways, we recently moved in together, a house that belonged to my grandmother, but we both pay utilities, tax, bills, and it's been great honestly except for these little problems. The major point of contention is how she will at times leave through the back door, in the middle of the night on walks, and be gone for hours. We have had disagreements about this multiple times in the past where I've told her that her walks are dangerous and make me uncomfortable. She will leave at around 1–2 am to walk around our rural neighborhood for hours at a time, sometimes when her phone is on low battery. I have no idea why she does this. She's told me that it's exercise, and she enjoys the solitude, but it makes me uncomfortable AF. I worry about what could happen in the middle of the night with no one around, and she doesn't appreciate me coming with her too much. Worse yet, she will leave the back door unlocked because she still hasn't gotten her own set of house keys. So it is up to me to readmit my wayward girlfriend every few nights. I've decided to draw my line. I've refused to unlock the back door and had it locked from both ends, so she's forced to use the front door for her trips. Not even she would dare leave the front door unlocked to go gallivanting into the night, so I'm good on that end. The only thing is that she got incredibly frustrated at me and called me a controlling asshole and hasn't been talking to me. I don't think I am when she refuses to behave like a literal sensible adult. So yeah, AITAH? I find it ridiculous cause she could simply go out to get her own pair of keys to thwart me, but she's the type that can't have too many errands on her mind. She will have a list of 5 and then feel overwhelmed and tapped out after completing one. I love her, but she is insane. Edit. A lot of people are questioning why I hadn't issued her a key immediately in a landlord-esque sense. Well, she's not my tenant. It's more like she came over so much that it devolved into her living with me. She has problems with her parents, so she decided to make my place her main residence, and we've just been chilling like that. She offered to pay utilities and things, but to be honest I wouldn't have minded either way. So finally picking up an extra set of keys was on our to-do list that she insisted she could handle. Still, I feel I was a bit assholey in how I chose to handle this. Her possible ADHD is a big issue for her and I've employed a hands-off approach in order to leave her agency, but since it's come to this it's obviously not working. We're definitely going to figure out other ways to work through this, including helping her make a PPTS and finally start the process on her diagnosis. She's also suggested sharing her location when she goes for walks and informing me before she leaves each time. Looking into electronic locks, and we're going to go get her copies of the keys later today. Also no, she does not have a secret lover that she's hitchhiking to go rendezvous with each night. Some comments from my GF. I am not a cat. Your girlfriend is a cat, isn't she? Info. Does she live here? If so, why does she not already have keys? Lol. You moved in with someone that will burn down your house sooner or later because she can't be bothered to remember the stove. And you think her leaving the back door unlocked in the middle of the night is the main problem here? Info. This all hinges on the key situation. If you have keys, isn't it on you to go make copies for her? Why is it not done? Why was she not given keys on the day she moved in? If you went out of your way to change the lock on the back door, it surely must have come with 2 keys like any normal lock. She sounds like a mess, but you don't sound any better. Info. Why did you not just get her a set of house keys or let her use yours? Am I the asshole for telling a Down syndrome person and his mother to go away? Edit. I apologize for the use of the term, Down syndrome person, in the title. Several people have quite rightly pointed out that this is not an acceptable term and the correct use is, person with Downs, or Down syndrome. This was a careless mistake on my part as I did not intend to be disrespectful and I'm sorry for the offense it has caused. And #X200B. I was on holiday with my husband and our 2 young boys and we had sat down outside at our favorite cafe ready to order lunch. A man sat down at our table next to the boys and casually started a conversation with them, largely ignoring the adults, his focus entirely on our children. At first I was confused, especially since he inserted himself into our table with such easy familiarity that I spent several moments trying to remember who he was and where we knew him from. Then, realizing that the man was actually a complete random stranger, I sat dumbfounded a while longer at the serious breach of social etiquette. Finally, I grew alarmed at his obvious keen interest towards my children. I could think of no innocent reason why a strange adult would do this. My protective maternal instincts started kicking into overdrive. I was expecting my husband to step in and handle the situation, but he didn't. So the man sat uninvited at our table and carried on his conversation with my kids while I got silently angrier. The possibility of Down syndrome never crossed my mind. Any characteristic features on his face were too subtle to notice. Even my husband, who had grown up knowing a distant relation with Downs, didn't spot it in this man. Finally my patience snapped and I asked the man rather sharply to please leave us alone to enjoy our lunch in peace. The man immediately apologized very politely and left. I should add that I am not a friendly person by nature. Social interactions can make me anxious and stressed, and I have often struggled to regulate my emotions. Thus I was extremely wound up from the encounter and still trying to simmer down some minutes later. An irate older woman came storming up to me at our table and started making a scene. She accused me of upsetting her son, who had Down syndrome. She was loud and angry and drew attention from all the other tables. She, like us, was on holiday with family and felt their holiday had been spoiled. For my part, I had no interest in engaging with her or discussing my encounter with her son and only wanted her to go away. She thrust a card in front of my face, demanding that I should read the information about Down syndrome so that I might educate myself and be more understanding next time. I was in no mood for this and threw the card away, then very firmly told her to leave me and my family alone. She stared a moment, probably realizing that I was as angry as she was, then left. That was the end of it. I'm not proud of my angry reactions and I regret upsetting the man with Downs, who in hindsight was simply a lovely, harmless man who wanted to make young friends. I maintain that I couldn't tell he had Downs or I would not have spoken to him so sharply. I still would not have allowed a stranger to sit at our table and engage with my kids, but I would have spoken to him much more kindly. I still think the mother was in the wrong to confront me and my family like she did. Does the mother think it's okay for her son to talk to random people and no one should ever object? This is such an odd way of looking at the world. Not the asshole, I don't care what the situation is, don't sit at occupied tables and only talk to the kids. The mother should know better than to let her son wander around bothering other families. Not the asshole, I think it's a completely understandable reaction to get cautious when a complete stranger approaches your kids. The mother of this man should have taught him that it's not okay to approach someone's children out of the blue. AITAH. Not the asshole. Having a disability does not make a person entitled to talk to strangers, especially kids, or share a meal with them. If he's incapable of learning this, then it is her job to watch him and intervene if he behaves inappropriately. Would I be the asshole for reporting my mom and sister for stealing my car? I 24, M. Live with my mom in a rural part of the USA. For context, when it comes to my sister, 37. She is much older and we come from different fathers, and both grew up in split custody arrangements. We are not particularly close, almost acquaintances more so than siblings. I don't really feel any familial connection even though I love her. I don't feel obligated to bend backward for her. Well, sister lives 2 hours away, in a much more urban area, and is currently going through a divorce. Her and her ex-husband only had one vehicle and it belongs to the ex-husband, so when they split, he took the car. Sister has 4 daughters and works a full-time job. I on the other hand work from home and have no real external responsibilities. My mom came to me asking if my sister could borrow my car for a couple of months until the divorce is finalized so she has a way of transporting her and her kids to wherever they need to be without the financial burden of purchasing another car, or relying exclusively on ride-sharing. I just recently bought my car, 12 V8 Mustang, and it's my first vehicle ever. I didn't get a hand-me-down, or get one as a present when I turned 16 or 18. I was basically immobile except occasionally being allowed to drive my mom's car, or when my dad had me I could get Ubers. Getting my own vehicle was extremely liberating, minus the loan, and I don't feel trapped at home, so when I was approached with this proposal I flat out said no. I can totally understand the justification for letting her use my car for a couple months, but aside from the fact I don't want to lose my newfound sense of freedom, I also just don't want someone else driving my car, and maybe that's selfish of me. Over the last few days my mom and sister have been trying to convince me to let her use the car, saying that she would pay for the car payment while she has the car, or that she'd pay for insurance if she has it longer than anticipated. No matter what they brought to the table, I kept saying no. Much to their dissatisfaction. To this morning, I realize that my mom isn't home. I opened our garage to see that her car was still there, but mine was not. I immediately know what has happened and call my mom about the situation. She just tries to calm me down and have me try to picture it from my sister's point of view, but I am just flushed with rage and instead just tell her that I am going to report the vehicle as stolen instead. She just hung up the phone. As of now I presume my car is down with my sister, and I am seriously considering reporting it stolen and naming her and my sister as perpetrator and conspirator. I really don't want it to go that far, and I hope that we could instead work this out. But what I initially said as an angry threat, I am starting to really consider as an option. I just don't know if it's worth burning so many bridges over a car, but the fact that my family won't respect my boundaries or my property is so frustrating. AITAH? Update. Not the asshole. Reported immediately to the police as stolen. If she has an accident or kill someone you will be held liable. You can end up in debt or in prison. Also, you family has zero respect for you or your things. Not the asshole. Report it stolen. You told your mother no. She should have accepted that. Plus she has her own car. Why does your sister need to drive your car, when moms can fill the job? Not the asshole. They needed to look for a long-term rental for your sister or buy her a beater or work with the soon-to-be ex to liberate enough money to buy a decent car. The rental wouldn't be cheap, and they'd probably do better buying an inexpensive car than paying that amount. But what they don't get to do is steal your car. Not the asshole that stole it without your permission. Report them. What happens if she was to get drunk and drive? That's on your insurance. I had this happen when I bought my first motorcycle, and those aren't toys. My brother stole it and I reported it missing. When I found out who it was I didn't care. That's your property. If they have a problem, your mom has a car, why can't she give her car up? Report it as stolen. Your sister has no insurance to drive your car. What if she gets in an accident, even if she isn't the one at fault? What if she breaks a road law and gets pulled over? What if she gets a parking ticket? Her STBX will use these to try to gain custody of the children. She should go to a hire company and hire a car. Am I the asshole for wanting people to wear white at my wedding? So I'm 24F, having a hard time seeing where I went wrong. But me and my husband-to-be, 26M, both struggle with NPD, so I figured an outside opinion might be helpful, since neither of us tends to understand when we're wrong right away. I'm getting married, yay, in December to the absolute love of my life, and we both want it to be the most spectacular wedding the world has ever seen because we both really love attention. I never used to feel comfortable admitting that, but ever since I've been with him I've been able to really accept that, and it's made my life so much more fun. We decided that instead of having me in a white dress like all the other white dresses, and him in the same tuxedo as every man in attendance, it would look really spectacular if we both dressed head to toe in gold. What we want is for all our guests to wear either black, white, or gray, and for us to be the only ones wearing color. I figured that not only would I look like a princess, but I'd also be dancing with a prince instead of just some guy, and he's so into the idea that he remembers it as being his. We just love that idea of a sea of monochrome, and then us in the middle of it all. The only thing is, my sister, 26F, has been absolutely furious at us ever since the clothing requirements came out. First, she said this was proof that I never changed, and I was being controlling again. Basically, that asking guests to wear a specific color was insane. Then she started making digs about my hair and how I was just doing this to show off, and asked if I planned to have her dye her hair too. I did not. We're both blonde, but mine is a bit more yellow blonde, and my husband is dyeing his hair for the wedding. I admitted to that, but also pointed out that it's my wedding and it's normal. Then she accused me of trying to upstage everyone else's wedding dress, basically implying that I was trying to get everyone to show up in wedding dresses so I could compete with them and make myself look even better by comparison. This was not ever the plan. When I mentioned what she said to my husband-to-be, his eyes kind of lit up in this really cute way and he said we should encourage people to actually wear their own wedding clothes, but we decided it would probably be actually terrible of us. We decided to let our families wear copper if they wanted, so they would stand out as a nice accent to gold, and then my sister would also get to stand out. I was totally willing to pay, and said as much. That was when she called me a spoiled child, and said she wasn't like me and wasn't in this for herself, and wanted all the guests to be able to wear normal wedding clothes, and that nobody in their right mind would be comfortable wearing white to a wedding. Too long did not read. I want all my guests to wear black, white, or gray to my wedding, and my husband and I to wear gold. My sister thinks this is horrible and I'm making everyone feel uncomfortable. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Nothing your sister said seems reasonable. I don't know what her real problem is. It's not controlling, it's like a theme party. You pay, you choose the theme. It's not that big of a deal. Is she jealous? You are the asshole. Not for the dress code. Just for your entire attitude. I'm guessing your sister isn't just irritated about the wedding dress. You say she mentioned you never changed, so I'd guess you've been pretty horrible your entire life and this is just the straw that broke the camel's back. It seems like a weird thing to be upset about to us people that don't know you. But one of the people that knows you best is flipping out about it. Only a couple options. You truly suck, she truly sucks, or maybe you both just do, definite possibility. Not the asshole for wanting a dress code. It sounds like your sister is so used to you claiming the limelight, that she's really struggling to accept this moment as 100% about you and your fiancé. And that's exactly what it should be. I reckon if she doesn't want to celebrate you both, then she doesn't have to attend. Not the asshole. It's your wedding, so you get to choose the theme, and this is by far not the craziest clothing requirement I've heard for a wedding. They even get to choose between 3 colors. I'm sure everyone will find an outfit they like. And by the way, I think the idea is awesome, very original but not over the top crazy. Do your thing. Not the asshole. Your idea is fun. Your sister is being a killjoy.